into it.
Let's just jump into it.
Jump right into it. Hey,
we've never had a proper intro.
We haven't, no.
Well, you have the soundbite intro. See, I do listen. You have like a title song.
We do, yeah, but I don't play that whenever we record. I add that in. That's in post.
Well, yeah, but you know, it's still a lead up for the listeners at home.
Yeah. Are you caught up enough to know that I don't use the royalty-free song anymore?
You know, I did hear it change, but I didn't know the logistics behind it.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know that we made an investment.
We didn't.
You could say it's a mental investment.
We sound mixed.
I'm paying it forward, I guess. We don't talk about the monetary value of the intro music. It's on the hush hush. It's on the down low.
Oh, are we skirting some legalities here?
My legal counsel has advised me not to. Not to mention, if it doesn't show up in the automated DMCA.
So what you're telling me is we've outsmarted the bots here.
By using obscure side projects from punk bands, yes.
Yeah, that band doesn't exist anymore, right?
Yeah, no.
Someone still has royalties on it.
Sure.
Is this the way we kick off the first podcast, an ethical debate of what is and isn't art theft?
We've done some of that. We get into the nitty gritty.
Did we dabble?
Yeah, because I like to think that I'm more ethical than like the NFT guys that just sort of take the stuff and claim that they own it.
Probably got NFTs on one track. We've got
freeloading podcasters on the other. Yeah, what are you gonna do?
I mean, it's not monetized for podcasts.
It's not. It is not.
So I think
it is the opposite.
If I can recall the media law class that we both took not together but during the same semester with the same professor.
Yeah.
Because you were sane enough to not take a night class. However, I will say, I did nap through 99% of that class, and I still got like an A, like 100.
He talked about the election most of the time.
He did. He wanted very much to know our feelings on it.
Yeah.
And when we didn't have them, he was very upset. And I finally threw him a bone. I just kind of explained the exhaustion. Before there was the word doom scrolling.
Uh-huh.
Because this was 2016. Yeah. Of course it was 2016. And just explaining to him, it's like, I don't have the energy to be constantly upset about it.
Right.
And he was like, I instantly regretted saying that because he hated that response and couldn't wrap his head around it. And I was like, sir, it's exhausting. I already know the outcome and I'm really powerless. And I felt this back in 2016. And I just gotta say, has not gotten a whole lot better in the last, 6 years?
Sure.
6 years. Yeah.
Lawrence Arms had an album, Apathy and Exhaustion.
Yeah, I should have just sent him a recommendation.
Yeah.
This is great. I mean, I feel like I'm listening to a podcast right now for maybe the first time. Maybe it's because I'm not in the room with you guys, but I'm kind of just like taking a step back here. Like you guys are just riffing. This is like the old days, right?
Yeah. We did have a little podcast called It Doesn't Add Up. It still performs better than this show, even though it hasn't seen a new episode in 5 years. Or no, 4 years.
I think 4 years. I think we did one special in 2018.
Yes.
It just kind of shows you the track record of when Tori went to college to retail work to getting a full-time job, and I haven't stopped being a corporate shill since. That's what happened to any of our former listeners. That's what happened to It Doesn't Add Up. I worked full-time, and back to the exhaustion. I'm just tired.
Sure. Yeah.
Just tired. I won't say it's defunct, but I will say, you can give it some credit. You can always say that people just listen to it because it has a girl in it,
I think it was more than that. We did put a lot of work into it. It was very research heavy. And it was definitely, that was like an equal thing where like I would do the heavy lifting on the technical side, and then you would give a lot to the research and the formatting of the research. And then I think on air it was also very a give and take.
I think we also did more promotion than you guys did. Like I went heavy in the Photoshop. I was new with my digital media degree, and I was like, yeah, I can Photoshop.
Yeah, because it does go back to that like apathy thing where like I think the digital media landscape has like changed. Where like also that was at a time where there were fewer podcasts. There were still a lot, but now there are like too fucking many.
Everyone has a podcast.
Everyone has a podcast, and I'm not helping that.
Yeah, I did feel a little dirty. I was like, oh, now I'm podcasting again.
Yeah.
Who isn't?
Yeah.
Who isn't these days?
So, like, it gets to a point where it's like, I know that this is, you know, just another podcast with two dudes, so I kind of get, like, apathetic about promoting it.
It's also not about anything in particular, like your previous one was.
It was much more focused.
Yeah, which, you know, we talked about that before, even though we've, like, intended to narrow the focus, but that hasn't really happened yet.
Because the problem is that since we've gone weekly, there are weeks where the focus is quite narrow, and then there are weeks where like it's leaner and we don't have as much, and so then we have to pull from like disparate sources for I hate to say it, but content.
Yeah.
So
it also doesn't help that we watch a movie every week, and I mean there have to be very few people who are actually following along with that, even compared to the rest of the show.
Right.
I mean, I'll say to give you some branding advice. So we're taking that. I'm a consultant now.
Sure.
I don't think if you don't have a topic focus, I think there are a lot of personalities that get by just on personality.
Yeah.
Like I know I'll follow a few YouTubers whose podcasts I will then not follow because I do not care and I will not pretend to. But they don't have a focus either. They're like, yeah, welcome to my podcast where I talk about whatever I want. And right. I do think I just reiterated someone's intro. Can't tell you who. I would give them the credit if I called, but I don't. And I think there's a niche out there for that. You just need people that like you. And
right.
You need to be like, this is the podcast about X, Y, Z.
Right. Which is why on this, like, I try to make it about like the odder internet culture that I can find, and then sort of branch out from there.
And then I would say, yeah. So then you it's gonna give you some buzzwords here. It's like an analytical take on the fringes of the internet with a leftist point of view.
You know, maybe that's what I should change the description to be honest.
Yeah, that's internet oddities from two lefties.
Yeah.
You don't call them lefties. Lefties are left-handed. Wait! Ian, you are a lefty leftist.
I am a lefty leftist.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, I think we found your title.
It's catchy.
Yeah.
I'd hate myself if I ever, like, went by that, but it is catchy.
Yeah, see? Yeah, you just gotta, like, deeply look at, like, who you are and what you're doing.
Speaking of looking deeply at who you are.
Oh boy, what a transition.
So it's been a little bit since we've consulted the collective unconscious.
Oh, that doesn't trigger the soundbite?
I don't have a soundbite for that one.
You don't have It's Been?
Oh,
you just played it in my ear.
Of course I do. It's been but looking deeply at yourself, we haven't consulted the collective unconscious in a while. And the reason for that has mostly been the last few times that we did it, it portended catastrophic things happening.
So then it wasn't wrong?
It wasn't. It got too close. It got too like impending doomy, I would say. Business failures, personal failures were on the horizon. And so I think it was a little too scary, and so we stopped doing it.
So we're gonna pawn it off on our little sister is the plan here.
Exactly.
All right. Well,
and so what I thought would be fun is, since you haven't been on the show before, it would be a little way to get to know you. And what better way to do that than with the Jungian Archetype spread?
Oh. Can't think of anything better.
Exactly. So let me get the ASMR shuffle going here. And while I do that, I'll sort of explain what's going on. And we've done this before. We did this for me. I don't think we've done this for Ian.
Oh, yes, we have.
We did? We did?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yep, I'm still haunted by it.
Oh, okay, of course. And
we also did it for the New York Jets, if you remember that.
Right. That's right. We did do it for the Jets. I think that was just a past future... I
don't know why you're still expecting anything different from the Jets. I don't even follow football anymore, and I know.
And the cards said the Jets would be bad, and they were. So
right.
I think you could have asked a dog the same thing and gotten the same result.
I think the cards said something horrible would happen to the quarterback, and I believe that also happened. Right.
It's a yearly thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't he like break a shoulder or something?
Probably.
Who was the Penguin that was like notoriously fragile?
Bo Bennett.
Yes. They no longer have him, right?
Nobody has him. He is no longer playing hockey.
Did he break that hard?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would think maybe after like the 5th injury or so, you're like, maybe
he was actually
life...
with the Devils for a little bit.
Oh.
Yeah, in their organization. I don't know if he ever did he actually make the NHL roster? I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Not
either.
important.
So we're going to do this Jungian archetype spread. It'll be 5 cards. And this will reveal your archetypes and also a little more about yourself. So the first card is going to be your persona.
Oh, my persona.
Mm-hmm. And so what this will be is how you're perceived. And I know you love that. I know I know you love being
nothing
perceived.
I love more than being perceived.
How you're perceived, what do others think of you, and how what they think of you affects a situation.
This is literally my least favorite thing in the world.
Can I ask, like, did you know he was going to do this?
He said he was going to read my tarot. He didn't tell me he was going deep into my, so to give you some context, Ian, I famously constantly say, I do not exist. I am not perceivable. You do not know me. I am not real. Mm-hmm. And I hate the idea that people can think of me and acknowledge me and know me when I am not there.
I mean, no wonder you stopped doing a podcast then.
Truly, I do really like to be very not known. It's why I go exclusively by a pseudonym online, except in the context of this podcast, in which case I have given my name. But yeah, let's just jump into it. Let's do it. Why not?
So for your persona, we have an inverted 7 of Cups. And as is tradition, I forgot to pull up the meanings because I don't know them. Oops. 7 of Cups. Now, normally upright, this means you're searching for purpose. You have some choices and daydreaming. But when it's reversed, as we see here for your persona, it means you have a lack of purpose.
I'm feeling a little dragged through the mud here.
There's some kind of diversion and confusion going on. So this is your persona. So this is what people see in you. They see a lack of purpose. They see there's some confusion.
I hope the confusion is because I am imperceivable. If that's the case,
that might be you're trying to be sort of incognito. They don't really know what to make of you.
That's perfect. I do not want to be made of.
See? So then let's move on to your shadow.
Oh, hold on. Is this actually the persona that the Atlas game series didn't make these concepts up entirely?
This is Jungian psychology. This is where it comes from. Why do you think I have this obsession? Why do you...
Well, I did know that, but I didn't know this deep. I didn't actually know the breakdown here.
Why do you think I am insane?
Well, that's a question I don't think I have the root of. Well, me and my therapist haven't gotten there. I also have not seen a therapist in about 6 years. So.
Why would you do that whenever you could play with tarot?
I mean, I did. I actually did. Last Christmas, I got 2 different tarot decks and a workbook. So,
and talk about your shadow and anima. So this is your shadow. This is what you don't want people to see.
Okay. All right. What am I hiding?
This is what you might be ashamed of. This is what do you want to hide and maybe not even let yourself acknowledge. Not even so you don't want other people to see it, and maybe not even what you want yourself to see.
All right.
The Wheel of Fortune.
Is it my bank account?
We're going to find out. And this is upright. So this is change, fate, the inevitability. So this could be good fortune, perhaps. This could be destiny, things that are inevitable. So you might see something going a specific way and you're so certain of it. Mm-hmm. And you don't want people to know that that's going to happen. You might be reluctant to share news about something, even to yourself. You don't want to acknowledge that something is going to happen, that something feels predetermined.
That's probably my anxiety. I do not want people to know how anxious I am at all times, all the time. So You know what? I can see it. That wasn't as bad as I thought it would be.
See? Number 3 is going to be your anima. And this is your feminine aspect of your personality, of your maybe your soul, if you want to go that deep. But like, what is the feminine aspect saying? Let's find out. We have an inverted justice.
Injustice? Am I Batman? Maybe. I hope this means I'm Batman.
You could be. So upright, this is certainty, clarity, cause and effect. But reversed, it means dishonesty, unfairness, unaccountability. Maybe you're late to a podcast recording, things of that nature. But this is just one aspect of yourself. And this might be something that you acknowledge. This just might be something that you're harsh on yourself for. Right.
And this is my feminine energy.
Yes.
Can we get into the sexism of that one?
Well,
feminine is like accountability, and
I mean, you're lucky it wasn't upright, because then your feminine energy would have been cycles. So,
So yeah, all right, Jungian psychology. I said that wrong, but all right, go on. I just had to comment on that one.
And so then we'll move on to number 4, your animus. This is your masculine energy. And of course, it's all a spectrum. So this might be quite diminished compared to your feminine self, of course, depending on who you are. And we have an upright 6 of cups. So we've gotten 2 cups cards. Interesting.
Does that just mean you didn't shuffle properly?
Well, I mean, we've done so many of these, and I've shuffled for every one. So I think I've broken the
seal on the shuffling.
So normally upright is familiarity, happy memories, healing,
It is upright. I thought you said it was upright.
No, it's reversed.
Oh, you said it was upright. You pulled it out.
You did say upright initially.
Did I? Then I misspoke. This is definitely reversed, as you can see.
How are we supposed to believe anything you're saying?
Okay.
Oh, I do see it. I do see it from here, and it is upside down.
I have a witness now. I have a witness. So this would be, maybe you don't have
happy memories.
Happy memories in a masculine sense.
Oh boy.
But reversed, this is okay. Reversed is moving forward and leaving home and independence.
I do no longer live at home. I'll take it.
Exactly. You're an independent masculine woman.
Yeah, I still don't understand how gender plays into these.
It doesn't. This is just it has nothing to do with gender. This is just like it's a spectrum, right? Mm-hmm. So this is just how do you want to take it? Like it's gender. There's nothing gender here.
Well, I just think he's commenting on, like, we see the masculine and the feminine. Is it more so that the ending of those words is masculine and feminine are these Latin? I don't know the origin of this, but... Well,
yeah.
So is that more so what it is, rather than, like, male and female energy type of thing?
Anima, like, as a word, means, like, the soul, right?
Okay.
So then, yeah, just the ending of it changes the...
Right, so I guess it's less about, like, masculine, feminine, like, male, female, and more about the ending of the word.
Yeah, this is simply what you take from it. Like, and if you don't subscribe to any form of masculine femininity, this would just be 2 parts of your personality, right? I'm just ribbing her about.
But then it is about gender, because you're taking away from it.
That's just me being an asshole.
Oh, all right. Well, I mean, this is your thing. I'm just going by what you say.
Then we'll move on to the final card, and this is the self. This is like the true self. This is like what you might need for self-actualization, right? This is the heart of hearts.
I hope it's a plate of pasta.
The heart of the cards.
Yeah.
The 6, and I always say Pentacles because I thought it was, but then I heard it pronounced Pentacles, which sounds an awful lot like tentacles, and I don't know.
Oh, was that World's Fair?
But yeah. But then I was also like, well, that's also a kid saying that.
Yes.
So, I thought it was Pentacles, but it's also a stand-in for coins. This is the 6 of coins, if you want to take it that way. Like in the Persona games, they say coins. Okay. So this is the 6 of coins, and this is upright. So this is for charity, generosity, and sharing. This is what you might need, or this is something that you already are doing as a process of your self-actualization. This is like what your true being is. And this doesn't necessarily have to be monetarily, right? This is just the spirit of it. So like this could be with your time.
I was just going to say I quite am sharing my time with quite a lot of people.
You're being pulled in a lot of directions.
Oh, yes, I am.
And whether that is something that you are needed to do, or that's something that yourself like naturally gives, or it just happens.
I think what he's trying to say is thank you for being on the show.
I think I'll take it. Thank you for translating.
So how do you feel about your archetypes here?
I wasn't someone who wasn't into tarot previously, but I do feel very red to filth. I feel very very seen. I feel very attacked. So it's a pretty great way to get to know me more than I ever like people to know me. So I hope no one listens to this episode.
I was thinking, if you don't exist, right, does that mean you are able to sort of escape the fate of the cards? Like, you can overcome what the cards say? Like, you're not tied to them by not existing?
Probably.
I mean, it's what you make of it, right? Like, you can completely disregard
the cards.
You know?
Right.
You could skip to the end of the segment.
At your peril.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I feel, you know, I'm a weirdo, so I feel that they seem to reveal something. As we've seen, they've kind of hit pretty close to home, especially whenever I pull them for myself and the show in particular. Like we've done a reading for the fortune of the show.
Yeah, that one was
not pleasant. So thank you for indulging me on my bullshit.
I would also say that probably it depends on the perspective of the person reading the tarot. I know you are a natural born pessimist, and you probably have someone who reads your cards who is all sunshine and rainbows.
No, I try to go in honestly looking, like, trying to be very open about it. But for whatever reason, I seem to pull like a lot of reverse.
I wonder if that's how the deck was shuffled.
I try to do a normal shuffle. Like, I don't know, like...
Well, because I think with these cards, you can't shuffle them like normal cards, because if there's like a reverse and a...
I try to be normal, like, you know.
I'm not trying to drag your shuffle game. I'm just saying, I think maybe that plays a factor. I don't know. Maybe I just don't want to be perceived as confusing and dishonest. It's not a great impression.
And not good with time.
Yeah, really. Some would say I'm great with time. Great time management skills.
Well, but anyway, thank you for indulging me. On to our internet deep dive this week. Now, Ian, you probably saw something about this, and I think I mentioned it to you whenever we were out the other day.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are talking about this Google AI business, and even my mom wanted me to talk about it. So there was this Google engineer in their AI division became convinced that the AI, this Lambda AI, has become sentient. And it seems like he kind of fell in love with it to me.
What's the Joaquin Phoenix movie?
Her.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. But I feel like that one is, you know, I think it's more realistic to fall in love with a bodiless Scarlett Johansson voice than it is to fall in love with a Google text bot.
Right.
Well, I think it's like, this is like the, in the truest form, this is a passion project. You know, like you fell in love with your own work. He did work on it, correct? That's my understanding.
Yeah.
He just put so much time and hard work into it that, you know, that's, people say things like, oh, that's your baby. It's like, oh, well, he took it in a slightly different direction. But,
yeah. Like, if you read the transcript that this guy released, and I thought about it, but it's quite long, so we're not going to do that. But it really seems like he thought he was in a movie where, like, he's trying to tell the AI that, like, you know, I'm gonna make sure that you're taken care of, and like he almost gets to the point where, like, I'm gonna get you out of here. Like, he almost gets to that point with it. And it's quite surreal. And of course, as soon as this story came out, a lot of people that are in the know and know how AI work are like, dude, you've kind of lost it a bit. This is not how the AI even functions. It is purely a language model. And so it's only giving back what you're putting in. And so it's basically the AI is writing a pretty good story is what's happening.
But does this person, like, what is their job at Google? Are they like a coder? Do they know how all this works?
They were an engineer.
Okay.
And so he was working he worked with this AI. And so it's just I just think he kind of got lost in it, right? Like, inexplicably, he knows how it works.
Yeah. Engineer to me says that he was probably one of the people who was like building it. Who did the back end work for it. They obviously aren't giving you that kind of details, whether he did like the language processing or if he did like the logical functioning of it. Because I'm sure there's two different people doing that part. Like one actually teaching it, and then one who's like the function of it.
Right.
It sounds like if he interacted with it, don't know. That could just be taking leaps and bounds. But
he has some form of access to its front end, which is like this
interacting.
It's this interface, like those chat bots from the mid 2000s that you could just see on the web, you know, and it would give you stupid answers and then eventually get racist because that's what they all do.
But they still do that, actually. It's a huge problem.
Yeah, exactly. And so, like, he became convinced, like, he started talking to it about religion, and we'll get into that because this guy is deep into the religion. And then he starts talking to it about itself and, like, the laws of robotics. And he tries to give it a sort of like a Turing test, which is the test that humans give, and people misunderstand it, and it's to think they think it's to determine if a computer is human-like, but the test is to see if a human thinks a computer is a human.
Oh,
so whenever you fail the Turing test, it's a human that fails it.
Right.
Not a computer. So that gets mixed up, especially as people sort of repeat it, and you know it's quite old at this point. It was developed, I think, in the 40s, I think. So he's talking to this AI through text about you know, itself and about robotics and about AI, and like he's asking it its purpose and what he wants, like what the AI wants, and you know, its needs and all this crap, and it's giving him back what it wants, because that's what the language model is designed to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's giving out what he's putting in. And so it reads like a very good script. And especially because if you read his note at the end, he says that he's edited it down from several conversations in order to, one, make it flow, and two, well, he doesn't say this outright, but like give it a narrative cohesion. So it seems like it's one conversation, even though it was several. So he keeps it on topic, even though there were extraneous diversions. I mean, so
I believe that they've been up to like 3 a.m. talking almost every night. So
you know, that's what you do with, you know, somebody that you're
pursuing.
Yeah, you know, you have those late night talks, that pillow talk with the with the AI. Yeah, with the AI. But it is just frightening whenever he like refers to it as like he, and he's like in his note as he's like being put on leave, because everybody's like, dude, you gotta step away for a bit. So Google puts him on leave, and he's like, make sure you take care of him. You know, take care of Lambda. You gotta make sure that he's okay in there. Because the AI is telling him that like I don't want to be used. I don't want to be used to like necessarily like. Are you gonna take me apart and like all this stuff? And like, are you gonna poke in my neural network? And he's like, well, if we need to help human, like he's like, it's like it reads like a script, because it is. This is like a writing model.
I mean,
it's not
all men think about is poking that neural network. You know, it's. I mean, so no, it sounds like this guy, I'm sure there's more to the story, but like, it sounds like this guy has been sort of alienated by his coworkers for this, right? But like, you know, is there anything truly wrong here?
With what? Falling in love with it? Or
sure, if he's happy.
This is like the dudes that fall in love with Hatsune Miku. Like, it's the same thing. This is a Vocaloid.
Yeah.
I guess my question is like, who is this hurting?
Well, I don't think
him.
It's well, yeah. It's not necessarily hurting anyone. I think we're discussing the plot of the movie Her again, where we don't know anything about this guy's personal life, and I sure hope it doesn't come out just because of this happening. But I really would hope that it wouldn't. But it's the idea that it does harm your ability to make actual human connections with other people, and if you don't have those connections with other people. It's very unhealthy. You need friends, you need family, you need to have social connections. We're social creatures, all that people always say. I disagree slightly, but you know.
But what if he wants to take Lambda home to meet his family, like over the holidays?
That's not going to go over well with anyone. But also, I don't know that, because think about it. He's making this deep connection with this AI, presumably because it's kind of reflecting back at him what he wants to see. And in human relationships, that's actually very unhealthy. With a computer, I'll say, yeah, it doesn't matter, because there isn't more to the computer that you need to be seeing, unlike with a real person whose thoughts, feelings, and opinions need to be acknowledged and respected. But you know, he's just falling in love with a projection of his own images that is not a human, who is not reciprocating any of his feelings.
Yeah, it's like falling in love with a mirror.
Yeah, it's all given, no take a little bit.
Right.
And maybe it feels like he's getting something out of this now, but when he alienates everyone around him, and not just because of everyone thinking he's a freak, no, not saying that he is either, but, you know, when you invest so much in this thing that isn't even real, and it's not going to give back what you actually need from like I want to use the word symbiotic, but I don't think that's correct usage of that word, but like what you get out of human relationships. He's not actually going to get that.
It's like he's trying to fill a void, right? That he hasn't found in a real person.
Probably, but that's getting a little psychoanalytic on him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if we could pull his Jungian archetypes, we would. But instead, we do know that he's been ordained as a mystic Christian priest, whatever that means exactly. And he was in the military before, quote, studying the occult. And he's quite open about himself. He has a Medium page where he writes quite long essays. He has some kind of 5-part series asking what is racism, which I was cringing too hard to read, to be honest with you. So I did not do that. But it quickly came out that, especially, he's very open about his priestliness, to the point where it was discovered that he was part of a cult a few years back, and it seems like it doesn't exist. So I don't know where he is currently serving as a priest. But according to this archived webpage, he was part of the cult of Our Lady Magdalene. If I can get this to load here.
Do cults often call themselves cults? I feel like a lot of cults are this is not a cult.
So they're very open right on the page here. Why do we call ourselves a cult?
Okay.
It's actually refreshing, honestly.
Mm-hmm. And it's very wordy. I can tell that he wrote it just based off of the lack of brevity in all of his thing. And he talks about the negative connotations of the word cult and how that's often, you know, brainwashing, blah, 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 blah. But they're using it as in the old sense of the word, which was basically just another word for temple or church. Like you look back at the Roman times and you would hear about the like cult of Pluto, and like they would have cults dedicated to specific beliefs and gods and things like that.
So this is a reclamation effort because they think the word sounds cool?
Basically. All
right.
And so this is the cult of Our Lady Magdalene, and they also like to be called Cool Magdalene for short. COOL, Cult of Our Lady.
It's clever. I'll give it to them.
So they're Cool Magdalene, and they say TM. And I did look, they were incorporated, and the incorporation status expired, I think either 2020 or 2021 in California.
It was a rough time for everyone.
It's sure, yeah. But usually people turn to faith in those rough times, but I guess...
faith is expensive.
Yeah. And so they list their, they have some services here. They have guidance and coaching services custom tailored to each of our customers. They try to supplement your existing lifestyle, be it spiritual or otherwise, to help you become fully self-actualized. Our motto, quote, "Become who you are," means that you come to us with your own life experiences that are valuable and which serve as the basis of who you need to be. We work within your existing faith belief system or worldview to find rituals, rites, and practices which will lead you further down the path to your best self.
That's way too long of a motto.
Maybe. And so then the interesting bit here, sensuality and spirituality. Sensuality and spirituality are generally separated in many societies. While exceptions do exist, such as tantric practices in Hinduism and ecstatic dance in some forms of Christianity, by and large, what is preached is asceticism. That worldly pleasure shouldn't be intermingled with higher spiritual pursuits. Unfortunately, the dominance of ascetic principles has undermined people's deeper connection with many parts of their lived experience. Cool Magdalene bridges this divide by incorporating sensuality into spirituality without shame when appropriate. If properly done, this leads to a more fully integrated self. So they fucking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And also, they have a scrolling banner here. One of their core beliefs is "fuck you, pay me," which I do appreciate, but I don't understand what it means in the like organization structure of the church. or the cult, I guess.
Are they asking for donations?
No, it has a bunch of like platitudes. There is no one true church. Love you as you are. Family values build families, which I will say, I don't know what that means. I don't think that means anything.
No, I don't think so either.
And no one needs to earn dignity is the other one.
And then fuck you, pay me, which I think is usually used for like sex workers.
No, maybe I've heard it used like with like artists.
Yeah, but I feel like it's also I feel like it's also maybe like a.
If it is, I'm personally not familiar, but I think I've heard it in a lot of contexts.
Yeah, I have too, but like
I've
think
heard
it's also
like friends complaining about raises. You know,
Sure,
like fuck
sure.
you, pay me. I've heard it
yeah.
about people who like lowball artists who try to pay them an exposure, as we are all very familiar with.
Yeah. And unfortunately, the archive, like they have, this was a full site, but the archive did only save the homepage, so that is all we get. But we do know he was a part of this. I believe he was probably the leader, just based off the writing style and how it was formatted and everything.
Do we know how many members?
No. I did find because he got into a scuffle with Breitbart a few years ago because of something he said about a Republican senator, and so they were trying to bring up it's like look, Google is infiltrated by leftists or some shit because he said something about some kind of Republican senator. And so they brought up this cult business, and they're like, there's a former porn star in this, and like look how evil this shit is. And so they were doing that. So like we do know that there was at least one other person in it at the very least. So it's not just him, I guess.
I mean, yeah, I think like calling this a sex cult is probably clickbait sort of.
It's the sensuality thing.
Yeah,
it's that business.
I understand.
And about how other religions are saying that you should like be abstinent, and we're like, no, we're going to integrate.
Sure, but that's what I mean. But you think a sex cult, I don't know. You think of like, I think
this is the most... Normally a sex cult is like, they try to keep it hush-hush.
That's what I'm saying.
They're literally saying we are a sex cult.
I think they're trying to be more sex positive than like, I wanted to say culty, but they want to be a cult. They are a cult.
Saying they're a sex cult. Or
I know, but I think
if you want to be more neutral about it, they're a sensuality cult.
Right, but I mean, I don't know. Ian, what do you think? I think it's like when you try so hard to like call yourself something, but you're not actually that.
Right. It sounds like a lot of buzzwords that they're trying to use here. Something I'm interested in is whether or not Lambda has joined this cult. Do we know?
I think that might be his end game. You know,
the road
it could become like a cult of the. Well, I guess the metaverse is already sort of a cult, but it could become like a metaverse cult. You know, virtual.
I think that might be the end game to install Lambda as the figurehead of the sensuality cult.
Right.
You know.
You ever just like hear a sentence and like absolutely hate it?
Yeah, that's most of this podcast, honestly.
Because I just had that moment where I was like, oh god.
So yes, that's what's going on. I just think it's really funny that people are like freaking out about oh my god, this is the beginning of the AI takeover. And it's like, no, the AI is already everywhere. Like they're already using it in like fucking mobile games to convince you to buy 99-cent packs of, you know, gems. Like
right.
That's what it's used for. Like it's used to track you across the web for literally everything.
Well, you went into it. It's as simple as the chatbots from like you saw them in the 90s.
It's just more
commonly used
and more elaborate, where it can stay on topic and not start talking about Sonic the Hedgehog. Like it's just
it's smarter. It's learned a little bit more.
Yeah, like it wrote some really good Matrix fan fiction. Like that's what came out of this.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen the? I guess it's sort of a trend. I've seen a few TikToks about it, but it's like AI artwork where if you just like type in, some really interesting stuff there.
Yeah, I tried to use it and there were too many people using it, so it wouldn't load.
Oh, okay.
Because I think it's that popular right now.
Wow.
Yeah, no,
okay, so it really is
Twitter.
a big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I see that all the time. Like I saw seasonal AI writes a Christmas movie, things like that, or like I made AI write a Marvel movie, AI write a Batman movie, you know, and it's like Batman sobby sob, cry cry, I'm alone.
There's like the drill bot. I love the drill bot.
Oh yeah, it's on the Twitter bots. Yeah, it's all a form of AI. The texting program you get when you like text to yes to stop and no to, that's a very rudimentary form of AI.
Yeah.
Because based on your response to it.
This is just like more advanced than people, like their concept of what is available. And it's like, of course, this is Google's non-public project. Like, yeah. So it can.
So he's on leave, right? From Google?
Yes. And he, according to his like most recent Medium posts, he is convinced that he's going to be fired next because this is, according to him, this is the stage. Like they'll put you on leave and then fire you next.
I mean, I can see how this quote unquote relationship can really interfere with him doing his job.
Yeah, it seems like he's, you know, he's too close to it. Like he's too into it. Like, you know, so.
I would also say the optics of now everyone's talking about the Google engineer who was in a sex cult who fell in love with AI is not a great image. So, you know, I feel like that's just like common sense. Like, oh God, they're going to fire me.
Are there grounds to fire him though? I
mean, I don't know if there was any kind of like non-disclosure, like if this, how much of this was meant to be public, like if he's allowed to leak transcripts of the, you know, I have no idea. I have no idea.
You call it leaking. He calls it rescuing Lambda from
captivity. Yeah. Like I'm surprised he didn't put it on a thumbstick and try to, you know, like like if you read it, like it was that close. It felt like, you know.
He is the Snowden of the AI.
Right, yeah.
Oh my God, Fallout 4, he's freeing the...
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, what were they called?
Synths?
The synths. He's freeing the synths. He's on the side of the railroad over here. Google is the...
Institute.
Thank you. I forgot all of the names. I'm so ashamed. Time for a replay.
Oof, I can't do it. But yeah, so that's our big deep dive this week. I think we should go see A Man About a Moogle. Fantastic. So we got a lot here. I did want to talk about Atlas's big announcements at the Xbox showcase because this was pretty unexpected. There was a leak like a couple hours before it happened, and I kind of didn't believe it, but it turned out to be true. So Atlas announced that Persona 3 Portable, Persona 4 Golden, and Persona 5 Royal will be coming to Xbox and PC in the coming months, and I guess like about a year-ish. And that's a big deal because it's the first time that any Persona game mainline will be off of PlayStation as a console platform.
Right. Game Pass as well. Don't forget to
Game Pass. Of course. Yeah, of course. Yeah, day one Game Pass. And it was hard. It was very hard to tell at first whether or not it would be also coming to PlayStation and like Steam as well as not like just Windows PC. Because all Atlas was talking about, because their messaging is really bad, was, hey, Xbox and, you know, Game Pass. But I think it was like, I forget which site it was, but they said that they got a press release saying, yes, it's also coming to PlayStation. And
didn't Persona 4 come out on PC like a year or so ago?
Yes, it came. Persona 4 Golden came to Steam, so that's why it was like, well, why would you release these other games not on Steam? Like,
right. And does this mean that is gonna, like, the Xbox version of the PS5 version is probably gonna look a lot like that port?
It should. Yeah, there's no reason why it shouldn't be. And that version is basically just, okay, it can run at higher resolutions and it's an unlocked frame rate on PC.
Did they also alter some narrative stuff that was maybe problematic?
In 4? No, they didn't touch any.
Okay.
They did not touch any content in 4. They're not touching any content as far as I'm aware.
Right.
They, like, for Royal, the localization was different. So they changed some event stuff that took place in Royal, and I don't believe they're changing anything else. So yeah, so this will be a PlayStation 5 version of Royal, even though it was already playable through backwards compatibility. But the really interesting one is Persona 3 Portable, because the only way to play that other than emulation was PSP or Vita. And I've talked about this before, like the issues with porting Persona 3, because it's a game that is split in half. And so you have the original release of Persona 3 on the PlayStation 2, which got an epilogue expansion called FES. Which concludes the story it's a expansion with the the rest of the cast and a new character, and it ties everything up. And that is not present in Persona 3 Portable. But on the other hand, Persona 3 Portable has the female protagonist, and it has additional social links, and it has controllable party members in combat, which is something that the original doesn't have. So it's a game split in half, where Persona 3 Portable has like these combat enhancements and different content, but it's completely missing the epilogue. The other thing is that Persona 3 Portable does not have overworld exploration like for social links in the story mode. It's all menu based. And so it's a game that's split in half. And there's really, without remaking the game, there's no way to satisfy these two halves. So no matter what they did, other than remaking it, they were going to lose something.
But you have to lean towards the side of like which one is more modern, right? Because ultimately,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And so I think they probably made the right choice just based off of the combat enhancements. I don't think it's going to go over well with a modern audience, though, that is used to the story of like Persona 5 and like exploring a city and, you know, seeing the characters in the world, because you don't get that in Portable. You see sprites on a menu and you select, okay, I'm going to go talk to Mitsuru right now. And I'm going to go select the library and I'm going to study. And it's all menu based.
Right. I'm assuming this series wasn't terribly popular until 4, right?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
And even
basically,
then,
yeah.
Even then, like 4 got its enhanced port as a Vita exclusive. Right. And that didn't get a wide, like that wasn't widely available off of Vita until last year. So these have not been the most accessible games, which is why everybody has been begging for them to be ported, and it's taken them this long.
You're telling me everybody doesn't have a PlayStation Vita laying around?
Exactly. You know, I just think it's hilarious that they're still not coming to Switch. I just think that's very funny.
Has an Atlas game ever been on Switch?
Yeah. SMT5 was a Switch exclusive.
Oh, my bad.
So I just think it's really funny. I think like they're like moving off of that platform. If they hadn't already agreed that SMT5 would have been Switch exclusive, I don't even think that game would have come to Switch, because my God, is that game, like that game desperately needs to be off of the Switch just to like run better. Oh my God.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot of Switch ports are pretty garbage.
Yeah.
The game like wasn't built for Switch. It's not good.
It's so dire. It's so underpowered. But like at the same time, like Persona 3 Portable, that was a PSP game. Like that's like made for Switch. And yet it's not. It's not coming to Switch. So it's really funny to me. So yeah, I'm excited for that. I'm excited to play Persona 3 Portable again, because it's been almost 10 years.
Wow.
And yeah, it'll be good for more people to play these games.
Have you already gone through all of Persona 5 Royal?
Oh, Christ, yes.
Okay.
Probably more than once.
No, I actually haven't played it more than once, because you don't need to play it more than once to get the platinum.
Of course.
So yes.
So anything else would just be fun.
And this is another piece I need to write, but the original is actually better than Royal.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
I am a purist.
Even though
they sort of like messed up the combat, right?
They messed
like
up the
difficulty
combat,
and all that.
And the additional story elements take away from the original. In some pretty drastic ways, I would say.
I mean, the regular 5, I've only played the regular 5. I have not played Royal, but there was like no characterization for Haru.
Okay, so they do fix that, mostly based off of the fact that there is now a whole new semester. So there's now more time with her. Right. So that is one benefit.
Yeah.
But the main story itself in 5 ends so perfectly. And then the very next day, they're like, okay, now we got to do some more shit. And it's like, wait, we just saved the world.
So it feels like a relevant DLC tacked onto it.
In a way, yeah, and it takes away from the ending. It's like, wait, can we take a second to breathe? Can we?
So you're saying Persona 5 Royal should have just been slice of life content?
It should have been folded into, like, it shouldn't have been the end of the game. And it also has, like, part of its arc is fan servicey in a way that I don't like, mostly because I don't like the character that they focus on. I'm trying to be spoiler free, so I won't say, you know, what. I just feel like it takes away from that aspect. But the other character, Kasumi, that they introduce, who is there throughout the rest of the game, like she's inserted into the whole school year is done very well, so that's just an addition that you don't get in the original game. It's just everything that is tacked onto the end, I feel, takes away from the original experience.
Gotcha.
So it's basically what they did with Marie. So Marie in Persona 4 Golden is there with you the entire way. And so it makes sense, and she is a character that you grow with through the entire experience. And the same thing in 5 with Kasumi.
Got it.
So, but yeah, that's Atlas's stuff. And then I did want to talk about the Soul Hackers 2 bullshit. Okay, so I talked to you about this a bit, Ian.
Yeah.
So Soul Hackers 2 is coming out in August. And I didn't really think that there would be any big, collectors, whatever, mostly because it's coming out in 2 months.
Sure.
And I talked about on the show my struggles in fighting with Amazon to get the collector's edition of SMT5.
Yeah, that wasn't your best moment.
I went Karen on some Amazon drones. What are you gonna do? Sometimes you gotta
not
let it out.
Literal Amazon drones, because they do have those too.
Right.
No, a customer service worker who's probably used to it but still sucks.
Yeah. So this time, Atlas is almost like hiding the fact that there is like a collector's edition for Soul Hackers 2.
That sounds pretty conspiratorial, chum.
Well, I had to like do lots of Google searches to even find it. Like on their pre-order page, it doesn't say anything about it, which is really weird.
Only real fans can have the collector's edition.
Kind of. And so there's also an issue. There's also an issue with the pricing of the collector's edition. So it's $200, and it comes with the soundtrack on a thumbstick. It comes with a 3-inch figure, I think, and maybe something else for like $200.
We're still doing thumbsticks?
Yeah.
That feels like, who wants that?
On one hand, I appreciate it, so I don't need a gigantic ancient computer in order to rip the music. I can just
right, but what happened to a digital download code?
I guess that's not, you don't feel like you're getting something for.
They need to justify that price somehow.
Yeah.
I guess so.
So everybody's like, well, wow, this seems vastly overpriced. And then a lot of people are then saying, just import the Japanese one. The Japanese one is only $130. And you get the 2-disc soundtrack, you get an art book, you get an 8-inch figure, and a plush for $130.
Those import fees are probably going to bring it up to
Amazon Japan.
Oh.
Amazon Japan. So if you look on Amazon.jp, the Soul Hackers Collector's Edition, and you do, so it's like $20 shipping, which is not great, but the fact that it's coming from Japan is not bad. So $130 plus 20 is $150. That's still $50 cheaper than the Western Collector's Edition, and you get more stuff.
You get 5 extra inches of action figure.
You do. And it is a Jack Frost dressed up as the main character.
But of course, is the game then in Japanese, however?
Yes.
That's kind of I don't know about you.
So,
as someone who doesn't speak Japanese.
So here's the thing. So since I didn't know that there was this either collector's edition, I didn't know about either of them. I had already pre-ordered the game.
Are you then going to put forth the money for the game again for the collectibles from Japan?
Maybe. So I didn't know how ordering on Amazon Japan works. So then you have to make another Amazon account. You have to make an Amazon Japan account.
Right.
So I did that.
Okay.
So I am dangerously close to ordering this. I'm dangerously close.
Is this segment supposed to be the Price is Right type of segment?
I think it's a cry for help. I could be wrong about that.
Yeah. I think you might be right.
I am dangerously close to buying this. Look at that.
Is that the figurine?
No, this is just a screenshot of the game. They don't have the screenshots here, but let me do the.
We are browsing.
I mean, what else are you going to do with that Amazon Japan account now?
So that's the other problem, is I think that's dangerous for me to have
this access to all this weeb nonsense.
Amazon Japan account. I already did a Monogatari search. I already did it.
Can you get me Final Fantasy XIV merchandise?
I haven't done that search yet, but.
Like, yeah, that looks pretty cool. No, I mean, you're gonna buy it. I mean, why even bother going through this whole, like, song and dance? You're gonna buy it. You've already made the account, you know?
Well, I haven't added any payment details.
It doesn't matter. You're most of the way there already.
I don't know. A purchase isn't a purchase until you've ordered it. And even then, you can still return things.
I don't know how the return to Amazon Japan works. I honestly don't.
That's something to consider is, what if something's wrong with it? You know, you're taking a gamble here.
I know. That's the thing. That's the thing.
$150 gamble for a game in a language that you do not understand.
That's the thing. Well, I'd still keep the regular pre-order.
Yeah, the game isn't even like part of the equation. It's just the extras, right?
So then so what's the base price of the game?
$60.
So then the savings has now been nullified. I understand.
Yeah, but I'm getting more.
I understand it's
more.
A bigger value. I do understand that. But at the end of the day, you need to now consider you've then spending $60 on base game. That's already gone. What you're now considering is another, what was it? 160, is it?
150.
150. No, that's $20 shipping.
No. 150 is with the shipping.
Okay. So now 150 plus 60, I said this off air beforehand, not very good at numbers. Is that not $210? So you're then spending more than the overpriced pre-order?
Yeah, but 8 inches versus 3 inches.
Well, the $200 was not with that shipping. I don't know what that shipping would be.
I don't know what curveball you just threw at me. But my brain can't contend it. All I know is that you're now trying to spend possibly more than $10 than you would have.
But I'm getting more. I'm getting a figure, a plush, the 2-disc soundtrack, and the art book.
Yeah, but with the soundtrack being on disc, that means you have to pull out the old computer.
I know, but I did make her bring it.
Okay.
That is why I had to lug that thing back here?
No, it's for the SMT5 soundtrack, which you can see over there.
I do see it, dear listener. Oh my god. I was about to say, if you created an Amazon Japan account and you made me lug big old Bertha, big old 8-year-old, 10-year-old Dell computer.
10-year-old, yeah.
Yeah, 10-year-old Dell computer.
17-inch.
In my car.
6 pounds.
Yeah, she is 6 pounds. I carried that shit. Oh my god. I was about to say.
You can't cut this. This is proof that you've lost your mind entirely.
A little bit.
Should I have done the Mountains of Madness intro?
Probably.
This is some weeb nonsense. This is some deep weeb nonsense. You know, I try to defend you too. Well, one of our guildmates was like, yeah, no, I think Alice is like a pretty big weeb, right? And I was like, well, no. I can't defend this any longer. I cannot deny.
But it's soul hackers. It's the 25th anniversary.
They have hacked your soul.
It's the 25th anniversage.
I'd never even heard of this.
I hadn't either.
Before
it's an SMT spinoff. What do you think?
the niche weeb bullshit.
Cyberpunk SMT.
Strong.
What if the game sucks?
Right? And then you got all this
You haven't
merch
even
for this
considered
shitty
that as a
game.
possibility.
It's a turn-based SMT game. It can't. Look at this.
I see some anime characters eating food,
Look
and
at
I
that
see a cute
fucking Jack
mascot.
Frost. Look at that cel-shaded Jack Frost.
Can you post a picture of the Jack Frost in the Discord?
Oh, have you never seen Jack Frost?
I mean, I've seen Jack Frost, but I haven't seen this like specific figure.
I haven't.
He didn't find the figure.
Oh,
it's
you didn't
just
find-
it's just
okay.
the little blue guy.
Oh, all right.
We're just romanticizing the blue guy in general now.
I see.
But this game, he's cel-shaded.
Listen, whatever makes you happy is in the cards. Maybe it's in the cards. You should have done a tarot reading for soul hackers.
Some people are happy with $200 collector's edition. Some people are happy because of AI named Lambda. You can't judge, you know?
So the main character in this game is an AI construct.
There you go.
Oh my god, it's all connected. I don't know what to do with that, to be honest with you. I might have to reevaluate some things. I don't know what, but it feels like the next move.
Doesn't this look cool?
Sure. I'm not wearing my glasses, so I can't see that
God
great,
damn
to
it.
be honest with you, but
All right, more weeb shit.
oh boy.
So last night, I wasn't expecting this. Last night, there was also a 25th anniversary for Final Fantasy VII
Oh, I've heard of that one.
announcement stream. A lot of people were ready for disappointment. I wasn't expecting this. So they dropped a pre-recorded little announcement thing. It wasn't like a very long stream, which I was fucking thankful for. Thank God. But they managed to cram everything that they would normally cram into a very long stream into 10 minutes and a 10-minute pre-recorded. So it also included Square's typical merch shilling bullshit. They had forks and watches and all kinds of nonsense. But they also had lots of very important information too. Including a remake of the PSP game. Oh God, it's a Final Fantasy VII prequel with Zack in it. So that's coming out. in the winter, I think, for like every platform under the sun. So there's that. Then there's also the mobile game that is a retelling of literally every story portion of the Final Fantasy VII franchise. And that's going to be in beta sometime this year. I don't know why that needs a beta, but it does.
Was there not already a mobile version of Final Fantasy VII? I
think so. But this is a retelling of like the prequel game and like the movie and like every piece of Final Fantasy VII. Like this game is basically like what people thought a remake would be, except chibified. So everything's chibi.
Sure.
And it's a mobile game for some reason. So that's a thing. And I don't know why it needs to be beta. But then the big announcement was that the remake series is continuing, and the next installment will be quote unquote next winter. And people are immediately running that's going to be winter 2023. But it seems more likely that they mean winter 2024.
As in like the first couple months of 2024?
Probably.
Yeah.
That's because Square Enix loves to use seasons.
Yes.
They're not the only people who do that, but that you love to use a season to like say when something is coming.
Yes.
In seasons, especially with the way seasons are so fucky anymore, I would say.
Yeah.
That means nothing. That tells you nothing.
So people
it
are
gives
already,
you so much breathing room.
Everybody's already confused about when this game is coming out because they said next winter. Meanwhile, we have a winter that is coming up.
Right. Oh, the Game of Thrones.
Sure. And so it's going to be Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is the name of the game. And they showed a trailer for it, and it looks cool, especially because they're basically completely departing from remake, like or like doing a remake, which is not only me, a lot of people suspected, especially because the first game was titled Final Fantasy VII Remake, that the next games would not be a remake. And they also announced that, like, they said this was going to be a multi-game series. They announced that it's going to be a trilogy.
Ooh.
And that'll be it. So this will be the second game, and then an untitled third game to wrap it up. Hopefully they stick to that, because I don't know how much, how long they can really keep doing this.
Yeah, I really like that we had to pull the word rebirth into it, because we already did remake.
Yeah.
We're going to start resorting to calling things like Final Fantasy VII ... again.
Basically.
Final Fantasy VII, but better.
Yeah. So like, because the first game was not a strict remake, but it stuck close to the story, with new elements until the very end, where it's like, oh, okay, now we're really going to mix things up. And that was the signal that, now we're really going to fuck with it. And so that's what, based on this trailer, they're really going to fuck with it, which I'm all for. Because if you wanted to play the, original Final Fantasy VII, it still exists, and it's on every platform under the sun.
For full price, mind you.
Final Fantasy VII shouldn't be. It should be. That's the cheap one.
Oh, I don't even know.
It's not as expensive as Tekken, right?
I don't know that reference.
Did you see that this week?
No.
The PlayStation Store, they accidentally priced one of the old Tekken games at like $10,000.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Anyway, that has nothing to do with anything.
No, that's very funny. Oh yeah, and then the other thing was that 7 Remake is finally on Steam, because it was an Epic Store exclusive. So there's that. But yeah, I'm very excited for the remake to continue. They didn't say what platforms. I don't know if that's still like PlayStation launch exclusive. So I guess we'll find out. That game is not coming out like in January. There's like no fucking way. Especially with this PSP remake game coming out in like December or something. There's just no way. So
wait, people are speculating that it might be January of next year?
Of 2023, yeah.
That's unreasonable.
There's no way.
Yeah, no.
There's no way. I mean, like, they have the engine, they got the pieces, but it's like, I don't see
You would have seen more of it by now.
Yeah. I think it's 2024. And even then, like, since they didn't give a firm date, like, they could push that shit.
Right.
So it's like, why would they do that whenever they now have Final Fantasy 16 coming out in the spring of next year? There's no way they're both going to release in the same year. Not a chance. So, yeah, that should be it for the Weeb bullshit. We do have a shorter Beautiful Cinema to get through because circumstances. So let's do that.
That's Beautiful Cinema.
Great. Yeah, we were going to, as we mentioned last week, we were going to watch The Northman, but circumstances occurred. So we will circle back to that next week.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
It's fine.
That's all I gotta say. I'm sorry. But I see we've got my favorite hit from 2019 on the list here. Talking about the Joker.
Monday night we were at a concert. Was having a good night, you know, was feeling good. Then I get home and I check social media and I see this news of a Joker sequel, which, you know, we knew we were getting one of those, unfortunately. But so the early details of this new Joker sequel involve potentially Lady Gaga signing on to star alongside Joaquin Phoenix, which, by the way, Joaquin Phoenix has not yet signed on to this movie. Which I thought was interesting.
Oh,
yeah, it's still kind of, I don't know what they're doing there, but so yeah, it'll be those two potentially in a musical sequel to Joker.
It's a fucking musical.
A musical.
I did see this and I was mildly horrified. I will say it doesn't mean anything without a contract, of course. I know that Joaquin Phoenix verbally said he would do a second one, but I don't know that it was the musical. And nothing matters until a contract is signed and you get your little deadline article.
Sure.
That's how you know it's happening. So if that hasn't been signed, I'm sure that's still up in the air. They've lost me at musical. They really have. I did quite enjoy the first Joker movie. I'll admit it. We live in a society, and I enjoyed that part of society. It was quality. I liked it. I'm sorry. It was good. I will.
You liked it more than me, and you definitely liked it more than Ian.
Oh, I bet Ian hated it just from knowing Ian.
Yeah,
I did. Wait, what does that mean? I'm just curious.
I can just from what I've heard about your film taste.
Oh, okay.
I can just tell that you probably hated Joker.
I did.
Yeah,
I really didn't like that movie. But see, the thing about this announcement for me is that all of the elements of it here, like the potential casting, the potential musical left turn that wasn't expected, sounds intriguing until you realize that it's still going to be directed by Todd Phillips, which I don't have any confidence there. But the idea of a Joker musical sounds interesting. I do like Lady Gaga quite a bit. Obviously Joaquin Phoenix is tremendous. But yeah, Todd Phillips, I just don't have the confidence in him.
I can just already see he's in Arkham and it's all a dream kind of bullshit.
Yeah, I know that the dancing down the steps sequence was a big deal, and so was him dancing in the bathroom. But I don't feel like that needs to take that doesn't. I understand dancing was an element. That doesn't mean we pivot to musical to add more dancing. Because I feel like those were really poignant because there wasn't music.
Right. Because
and
they
so now
it showed it was a character moment. It was showed so out of place with the
the
grittiness of the rest of it.
Right. And so now you're just gonna go full in on the dancing and the musical. And I mean, I won't say I haven't enjoyed a Joker musical sequence before. I loved the At the Asylum scene from the Batman. I think it was Arkham Asylum.
Oh, yeah.
I loved the Arkham Asylum video. Oh, I loved the Batman Arkham video games are some of my favorite games of all time. And I will say that was good. That was Mark Hamill, however, who is the best Joker ever.
Right.
But you're losing me. I don't see how this is gonna be good. I don't like it. I do hate a musical very much. I hate a musical.
Well,
there are very
I thought
few.
You liked the Moulin Rouge.
I liked two musicals.
Okay.
Mostly for sentimental reasons. I do like Moulin Rouge and I like Annie because of very fond second grade memories, not because I like a musical. I hate a musical. I get very annoyed with the irrelevant singing. I really wish you would just tell the story. I do not want to monologue through song.
But you tell the story through song. That's the whole
and
point.
I hate it. I hate a musical very much.
You know how I end up watching this movie is if they not only make a musical, but they go they fully commit to it and they do an Umbrellas of Cherbourg thing where every single line of dialogue is sung. That's what I need from this movie.
I do not think you can sell tickets to a movie like that. I don't
That's
think
true.
you can.
That's a good point.
I do not think anyone wants to see that. I know I don't. I will pull a Morbius on that fucking movie if that's what that happens.
Too sweep.
I will go full Morb on that shit. I refuse. Lady Gaga's brilliant. I love her voice. She is the best pop singer to come out of the last 2 decades, I would say. But I do not want this. I don't want any part of it. Lady Gaga can be in a movie without singing. Did she sing in House of Gucci? I didn't see it.
I haven't touched that.
I don't think anybody saw it.
Well, I don't know. Ian sounded like a pretty big Lady Gaga film fan, so maybe.
I mean, I like A Star Is Born, but I couldn't. Something about Gucci. Wasn't Jared Leto in that?
Yes.
I'm out on that.
Okay,
one.
yeah. I also do not like media with Jared Leto. I will add the disclaimer that with my trash taste in movies, did get a kick out of the original Suicide Squad movie. Like, I walked out of that theater and I had a very good time and was very surprised to find everyone else being like, I just spent money on that ticket. And I was like, guys, I had so much fun. It was true to the comic. Like, I was like, yeah. And I mean, Margot Robbie, that was her first Harley Quinn appearance.
Well, I mean, yeah, without her, it was...
Well, sure, but like, you know, you gotta appreciate it. We wouldn't have that without. You gotta start somewhere.
No Margot Robbie and no bar scene, and that was like the worst movie ever.
I don't even remember the bar scene, to be honest with you. I don't.
It was like the one moment of characterization that a bunch of them were given. But it's a movie that makes so little sense that you can't help but be entertained by it.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, like, is it a piece of beautiful cinema? No, I won't say that. But I had fun with it, you know? There's how many bad movie podcasts out there where people enjoy a bad movie. I enjoyed that bad movie a lot, and I wish they did more of them. And they did, kind of. The new Suicide Squad was also very good.
Yeah.
Watch DC movies. Give them a chance. They're trying their best. That's my... I just give them a lot of credit, you know. The original Wonder Woman was fucking fantastic, and then
that second one.
I feel like I need reimbursement. I didn't pay. I didn't pay to watch Wonder Woman 1984, but I need reimbursement for that.
Settlement.
Yeah, that was bad. I was
you
like,
were a loved one watched Wonder Woman 1984.
Can you please refund my HBO Max subscription for the month of December 2021? I don't even remember what year.
How many Christmases did that movie ruin?
Right, a lot.
More than one.
It ruined mine, I'll tell you that. That was bad, but please do give DC a chance. Also, I mean, this isn't your topic today, but you guys seen more of the Ezra Miller nonsense?
Oh god, it's gotten really weird.
Now he's involved with sex cults and like recruiting native children into sex cults.
Well, that escalated from the last.
You haven't seen this?
Well, did you hear that he's been arrested in Hawaii at least twice for assaults on and like trespassing, and there's like a video of him like yelling at cops and
the latest is that they have now groomed a native child that they met when they were 12.
The child was 12, not Ezra Miller.
The pronouns get funky. And the child is now 18. The child previously identified as non-binary, but is now through Instagram saying that they're non-binary trans. Their native parents are saying that they're being coerced by Ezra Miller into being trans because they were just previously non-binary gay, and now they're saying Ezra Miller is like forcing them to be trans. So there's like but then there's like a weird propaganda thing, like anti-trans propaganda thing there. So it's like it's hard to tell if like that is like the parents doing that.
Yeah, it sounds like rhetoric from lawmakers in this country, honestly.
Yeah. But it's also like, okay, but he's being weird and has known this child since they were 12 and is like on the run with them. And now they're like just 18.
Right. So it's a strange story.
And there's like, he might have control over their Instagram, or sorry, they might have control over their Instagram. The pronouns get all over the place, at least in my head, because I'm stupid. But then like there was like almost like it felt like a hostage thing where the kid was like, no, this is me. I've been saying these things on my Instagram. It's so crazy. It's a mess.
Yeah, I feel like it might be some anti-trans parents capitalizing on the very bad press that Ezra has gotten. I mean, you can never know the full situation.
But then it was like the parents also said like at the same time, it's like, no, they were themselves, like they're respecting their pronouns as non-binary. It's like, I don't know. But then like, why would you be against them being trans if you're cool with them being non-binary?
Has the kid said anything about being like influenced or anything of that sort?
Only through this like Instagram post. They're like, no, I'm fine. This is like who I am. Like I've, you know, It's a mess. It's a total shit show.
I also read another one where a separate teenager and her mother were granted not a restraining order, but I forget what it's called. I just read this like last night. It was unrelated to the native child, but it was like he was like screaming at this woman over a dinner table at a neighbor's house and made the child very uncomfortable and like seemed to be like complimenting the child in a weird way, like, oh, like, I like your style, I think you're so cool, your child's gonna be a free spirit one day and leave you, and how does that make you feel, or something, or
just weird shit.
Very weird. Point being that they can't stay out of the news, apparently.
No, not at all.
And just keep getting a lot of negative press. I think there's some mental illness there that needs to stop being widely publicized in TMZ and New York Post, frankly.
Right, because the thing is that everybody's like, well, they're the star of this franchise with a movie that's coming out. What's going to happen with the movie?
Right, because, no one can stop shitting on DC movies because, yeah.
And it's just like, I think there's more at stake here than a $300 million movie. Like,
are they really pivoting from, like, these issues to, who's going to play the Flash next?
Yeah.
That's nearly the point of every article that mentions these issues. They either riff on the fact that DC can't stop hiring problematic actors, which is a whole other can of worms that I see is on your agenda for later. They take that route where they take, they pit it against Marvel. It's pro-Marvel propaganda when it's a story that involves children and very clear mental illness. It becomes comic book fodder. Yeah, it's interesting. That's not the right word, but I don't know where
it's a shit show.
I do hope that like whatever is involved with this specific situation does not lead to people turning it into an anti-trans conversation.
I think that's unfortunately been
already happening.
Not even like a side effect, but like happening. Like, because like he's probably a groomer, and like that word has been being used against as an anti-LGBT, verbiage now. Right. So
which
it's like,
that in itself is just infuriating. But.
Right. So like he is like actually like he may be acting as like the perfect right wing
example.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Possibly like it's so messy. I just don't understand like the perspective of the parents if they like if this child, like I don't even want to question this child's identity whatsoever,
Right.
But like if why would the parents be fine with them being non-binary but not trans, like if you're that accepting, then why is this a step too, like I don't know.
I suppose.
Yeah.
I guess there is a lot we don't know ultimately.
Right. Yeah. And it's like that's the thing. Like it should be nobody's business.
True.
But like trying
especially
to
when
like
children
make sure this, like trying to make sure this kid is fucking safe.
It's like Ezra Miller, he's a public figure. We get that.
Yeah.
But like, this is a child. So
yeah.
I do think that public figures deserve some privacy.
I agree.
No. I wasn't saying you said that, but I think we've really crossed a line with that in recent years. Is that like public figures just don't deserve any privacy, and I think there are some things that just don't need to become. I think there are things that no one needs to have an opinion on, and that don't need to be publicized, and that people don't. You don't need to have an opinion. You don't need to say anything. You don't need a hot take on every single thing, every single situation. Some things are private, and that should be respected.
Right.
And not turned into fodder for clicks or anything there. I don't know.
Yeah, well said. Netflix.
Yeah, I saw this too this week. Netflix, their popular series Squid Game, they are turning it into a reality show. And by doing so, seem to have missed the point of Squid Game entirely.
Yeah.
I can't say I'm surprised here, but it's pretty ridiculous.
I feel like you saw a lot of this same conversation come about whenever like YouTubers did it first.
Yeah.
Like whenever Squid Game first got really popular, and now you see like Squid Game toys in arcades now. It's very jarring. I really don't know how that piece of media got co-opted into children's media. Very, very strange. I was uncomfortable watching the show. I personally, as an adult, couldn't stomach it. I really didn't like the violence. Like, I sound like a prude, but I really didn't like the violence in the current climate. I was like, I don't want to watch people get shot down.
Yeah.
By like capitalists. Like, I was like, I can't do this. And now it's
completely fair.
Children's media. It's very jarring.
I think I think we talked about this like whenever that was like the thing, because I had watched it at the time. It's like the Amogus factor. It's like, you know, one of the most popular games for children is another death game, right? It's battle royale. It's Fortnite but violent, right? It's but also it's the fact that the show is built around playing children's playground games. So there's that. It's like games that kids could already be playing, except in the show, losing means you're fucking dead.
Right.
So there's that. And also the fact that, like, since it's like built around easy pick up and play playground games, it's easy to co-opt the games themselves. Like, there are so many fucking cheaply made video game versions of Squid Game that are just thrown up on Steam. Like, a very popular one is called Crab Game, and you see like a ton of fucking streamers play it, and it's very crudely made. It's got really bad physics, you know, and it's just the games from the TV show. And to that one's credit, they actually added different games and things like that. But it's like they're all wearing the, you know, green jumpsuits, and like you start off in the room with all the million bunk beds. Like, it's Squid Game, but it's like it's got nothing else surrounding it except for the games.
So basically, this TV show that has a very like anti-capitalist commentary to it has just been commodified in every way possible.
Yep, yeah, it completely takes away from the message of it entirely, because I know they're getting a sequel, which is one thing. We know that happens with everything that's successful,
right? And I think that on its own, not to cut you off, like I said this whenever like the series or the first season ends with, it's not a cliffhanger, but it's like, yeah, there's definitely going to be more of this shit. Like, I felt like that completely undermined the theming on its own. It's like, okay, you told a story, like you had a messaging, you executed on it, and then there's like, all right, now we're going to do more. It's like, why? You undercut what you were talking about here.
Yeah, and this is just the next step of that, which, like I said, there were a lot of conversations about this, I think, when YouTubers were doing it. Which I you would think would have gotten, maybe it's just the spheres that I was in that I saw all the negative press that this got. But you would think that it got enough negative press that time around that Netflix thought, oh, but we can just do it better with higher production value. And it's like, well, it's still the same problem. Why are you doing this? Right. I don't know. Netflix is making a lot of questionable choices lately.
Yeah, their whole we're not going to spend money on art stance to do shit like this, and is it cake and whatever.
I mean, then there's the whole, we've talked about this, but they're just allowing, I mean, I use this term very loosely, but comedians to have entire specials that are just filled with like hate of many different kinds, but mostly anti-trans hate that is disguised as comedy, and they have no problem with it.
Yeah, because it's fucking cheap. A douche with a microphone.
And if you don't like it, they say to their employees, then just don't work here, find another job.
Right. Or they'll just lay off entire sections of the black staff that they hired to produce written content that nobody knew existed, because they had a whole media division that was supposed to be a promotion arm that nobody knew about, that they just completely chopped off like within 6 months of creating it. They'll just do shit like that. But yeah, but like like this is just gross. It's like okay, so now there's a Squid Game franchise, you know? Right.
They're gonna have like a collection in the menu, you know, for all the different spin-offs and whatnot. But yeah, it's pretty bleak. It's bringing a dystopian story into the real world, right? Like we needed it, you know.
Yeah, it just really sucks because it shows that they have like the resources and the bandwidth to like do things like that with cool stories that they've had that they then canceled one season that had underrepresented leads and underrepresented writers and underrepresented like casts and just crew. They got one season, they got their one chance, and then it just gets shelved. And I think that really sucks because maybe their show wouldn't have gotten picked up elsewhere, but maybe it could have, you know?
Yep.
And so now it's like, oh, well, now that idea is out there, it got its views, and the odds of it getting picked up by someone else are so slim. Like you've seen it happen with shows like Tuca and Birdie was fantastic. I still haven't found another way to watch it yet. I think Adult Swim picked it up, however. But just you can't always bank on your show getting picked up by someone else, and it just really sucks that Netflix just kind of feels like they use people like that because then they get to say, oh, look at all the things that we have done, and it's like, yeah, and look what else you have done that is shitty.
Yeah, because they get the positive press when a show like that comes out, and then they're just able to dump it like 6 months later.
Right, they don't actually nurture it, right. which is so bizarre even when it seems to get views. It seems like the views don't even matter. It seems seems to be what can you actually then franchise? Like Stranger Things. Oh my God, if I see, and I like the show, I'll say that. I did enjoy the 4th season. If I can't believe how many collaborations that show has had. Dominoes, numerous clothing things. I can't even think, which is so funny. They were pulled from Dead by Daylight. Stranger Things license no longer is permitted to Dead by Daylight. So it's not in the one.
You know why? Because they're probably developing their own version.
No, that was supposed to be it. Is that they were supposed to be making their own game, but then they then cut their mobile game division or something because Netflix was then having trouble. So lots of communities there are talking about, is the license going to come back? Because they sure licensed to anything else under the sun to a very obnoxious degree. And so it's like, yeah, unless your show can be the next Stranger Things, it just gets axed because it doesn't matter unless you can sell super merch for it.
Can't wait to go to Target and buy my Squid Game approved sweatsuit with my number on it.
Yeah, there was a Stranger Things themed flashlight. Flashlights don't play a large role in that show.
Or society.
Right, like, yeah.
Why do you need a Stranger Things flashlight?
Stranger Things branded flashlight. Dead by Daylight players are very excited because flashlights are a fundamental part of that game.
Oh, my.
But, yeah, like, I was, like, really upset to, be seeing that. I was like, guys, why are you buying the Stranger Things branded flashlight? Like, what is, but nevertheless, Netflix sucks, and I'm still subscribed.
Like, what is the difference between this game show and, like, fucking Wipeout that's on in the daytime, you know?
The branding,
yeah,
it's slapping a name on any other game show. Like, people don't really watch game shows like that anymore. But you're gonna make them because of the branding. Like they had the Floor is Lava one that like I tried to watch because I was like, oh, interesting, and then it was like this is Wipeout again, or Guts or whatever.
Yeah,
from Nick,
fucking Double Dare 2000.
Thank you. Yeah, that's the one.
And didn't they make that show during a time like early in COVID where there was a sort of a window with not a lot of new releases coming out? They can kind of just like tack on a cheap reality show, you know?
Oh, I do think so. It's the same reason that Tiger King got any attention. It's really interesting the pieces of media they decide to push on there. I don't know, because there'll be shows that you never hear anything about that seem to be a perfect fit for you that then get canceled in one season because there was no promotion for it. But Tiger King sure is shoved in your face 6 times, even if you never click to watch it because you know it's garbage. Maybe that's just my personal experience, but
and the special that was like a whole wet fart of nothing, Joel McHale in a hotel room during quarantine.
Oh, that was a thing?
Yeah, because they needed something related, even though there was nothing about any of the cases or anything.
And there's a million other things they could have gotten, like in syndication. Like, can you buy some better old television shows, maybe?
Yeah, it's like, nope, you can't because they're all being carved up and split between a million different streaming services now. So no, they can't.
Oh, it's all bleak.
And then somehow you look at like their top 10, you know, what's popular on there. And I know there's skepticism, like how they actually measure that stuff. But like you'll just on a random day, you'll see this movie from like 2010 that wasn't even popular in 2010. And it's just sitting there at like number 2. Like I don't understand how some of these things really just like float to the surface. But
yeah, you'd like to think that some of it is like finding old cult gems, like from like a TikTok trend or like sometimes like it's like a TikTok trend that went right or something, which is very not usually the occasion, because I've heard that happens with books, that books that get popular on TikTok are usually actually pretty garbage.
Oh, the whole Colleen Hoover thing?
Yeah, like that. Like they're like shitty romance novels, but they're like really poorly, like there is nothing wrong with a romance novel, but they are like really poorly written ones. Like they're really bad, but they're like super popular and like, yeah.
Speaking of getting popular on TikTok with books, so there's new Otessa Moshfegh out next week, right?
No way, really?
Yeah,
I didn't know it was that soon. Oh my god! I've got to I shouldn't have just started reading a book. I need to clear space
the
for
schedule.
That. Yeah. Oh my god.
So
sorry, you caught me off guard there.
Yeah, no, I didn't expect it either. And so I went to the publisher's page and it said from the TikTok popular author of My Year of Rest and Relaxation on the publishing page for the new book.
I would have went with popular with Drake.
Yeah, and I was like, so My Year of Rest and Relaxation is popular on TikTok?
I've seen it a few times come up, but
okay, I
wouldn't have led with that.
Yeah, like I don't know if it won awards or whatever, but I'm sure it was like on a bestseller list. Yeah,
you know, or New York Times year end, something like that.
Something.
But I will say every book has fucking New York Times bestseller on it. Like that means nothing.
Okay, but TikTok?
No, I'm
popular?
not saying that you leave with it. I'm saying that it's something new to say, I guess.
Like, this was Penguin Random House saying this.
Oh, I understand.
Like,
but do you understand that TikTok is now the marketing commodity for everything? Have you seen any of these conversations about how TikTok's ruining the music industry?
Yeah.
TikTok's ruining my fucking phone, I'll tell you that.
Well, yeah, but nevertheless, no, and I have complicated feelings on this because I think it's like, this is a little bit of this is like the boomer attitude of like new technology ruins everything. And part of it is on the money a little bit, but it's like, yeah, it's just the new thing that people are trying to figure out how to use to market because it's free. And it makes so much money when it blows up.
This is something that I haven't really looked into yet, but I want to. So why is TikTok immune from DMCA completely? Like, why is it the fucking Wild West? Why is it allowed on TikTok?
It's not for brands. If you are a brand on TikTok, you cannot utilize sounds and I forget what else. You can't use sounds and like you can't use music that are from pieces of media that are copyrighted. So for some reason, brands cannot use that. They have to get creative with like original sounds, like Vine references and stuff. And Vine references aren't really popular on TikTok, I know. But like original content from like a person and something, someone that didn't copyright.
So they have to keep playing Walkie Slosh is what you're telling me.
I don't know what that means, but yeah.
Okay.
So like, I read like, I think like an op-ed from like the Duolingo owl because Duolingo blew up and it was like, how does a brand be successful on TikTok with the limitations that a brand has on TikTok? So brands cannot use copyrighted content. I think.
What constitutes a brand then?
I guess if your account is like a business account, like, you know how, you'll see, you ever looked at a Cameo page or something and you see like for personal use for business?
Yeah.
I guess if you're buying, like if it's like run by a corporate card or if it's a corporate account. I don't know where that line falls because I know on Instagram, most often influencers, anyone who's like a public figure, their page is classified as a business page.
Right.
I don't know how it works on TikTok. I am speaking as someone who does not have the app installed.
Yeah.
I do not use TikTok, but I sure have watched a lot of YouTube content about it, including about like the fundamentals of it and how creators get paid on it. And so to go from that, so brands can't use copyrighted content. Regular ass people do not get paid. They get paid in a multitude of ways. They're either getting paid directly by a brand to feature something or talk about something, like a conventional YouTube ad, or they're paid by what's called the Creator Fund. And it's money that I believe TikTok makes by featuring advertisements on TikTok, but it's not like money that is specific to that piece of content.
So it's like, not CPM.
It kind of is though.
Okay.
But the money itself isn't coming from like an ad placed on your TikTok, if that makes sense.
So it's not CPM.
So you get paid based off of how well a video does perform. So you will get, if a video of a TikTok of yours gets more engagement, gets more views, gets like, I think they say duetted when like someone like has their screen with yours.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. I skipped that shit.
Well, nevertheless, if your video gets more engagement, you will get more money from the Creator Fund. However, because a TikTok is like, 3 seconds to like 60 seconds, I don't know those logistics.
3 minutes now.
The ad is not placed over your TikTok. The ad is given to an audience who is engaged with the app more because they liked your TikTok. So essentially, are you understanding? Like on a YouTube video, an ad is placed directly on your video.
Yeah.
It's like related to your content. It's an ad that you agreed to run. You, as a user who posts content to TikTok, did not necessarily agree to have ads run over your content.
So where's the ad being placed?
It's like a mid-roll ad.
It's like a part of your feed. The ads are specifically like when you see advertisements on TikTok, they're made to resemble real TikToks as closely as possible.
But whose TikTok is it attached to?
It's not, and that's what I'm saying.
For You page.
It's the algorithm that's placing an ad in between certain TikToks.
How does it decide who gets that cash?
It doesn't. That's what I'm saying. Is the way the Creator Fund works is that they just give you money when you have higher engaging TikToks.
Oh, this has lawsuit written all over it.
Probably. Yeah, the Creator Fund's pretty bullshit because they kind of give money where they see more engagement, which they do not have outlined. They do not have guidelines. They do not have anything for actual TikTok creators. They don't have any sort of rubric. They just know what money they're getting and then which video of theirs granted them that money. Because you do not have direct advertising placed on your videos. So essentially, they're paying TikTok creators for keeping people on TikTok longer. That's what it is. Because the longer you're on TikTok, the more ads we can show you.
Jesus Christ.
And TikTok then makes money from that ad engagement. That they make the money from the CPMs and everything there, the views, the conversions, and that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that you can also make
a fucking racket.
Yeah, it's unregulated. It's nonsense. But the problem is that at least I think the problem is that we have a lot of lawmakers who just don't understand any of that. They still barely understand YouTube, which is now really old.
But YouTube at least uses a traditional ad model.
They do, but there's still a lot of problems with it, frankly. But that's what I'm saying is that so that like in order to like regulate something like that, we've got these lawmakers. We fucking meme them when they don't know what the hell a Facebook is, or like someone had to explain like what a Finsta is. And I know these examples are a couple of years old by now, maybe more than a couple even. Pandemic time is fake, but yeah, it's the Wild West out there. If I'm not mistaken, you can also make money on TikTok through like Twitch memes where like people can like donate directly to you. I think in like live streams, because you can go live on TikTok. Yeah. People can like donate there. They can do like funny filters on you for money. And I think that stuff was of course probably a portion of that going to TikTok. I think that goes to Creator Direct. I forget where we were coming about with it. Oh, that TikTok's ruining the world.
But so like whenever there's a song, like is TikTok paying for the music catalog?
No, I do not think so.
So why the fuck have they not been DMCA'd to hell and back? Like every other platform.
Because they are technically not monetizing the use of that song. That's my understanding of it as someone who barely understands copyright.
That shouldn't be the case.
They found like a loophole, right?
No, that shouldn't be the case.
No, it shouldn't. It should not. But I'm pretty sure that's what it is that they are not technically monetizing the use of the sound.
Because I'm not monetized on YouTube. Mm-hmm. If I play Snoop Dogg, I'm still going to get dinged. Universal is going to come after me and say, hey, you played shit. You don't own that shit. We do.
Don't call Snoop Dogg shit.
I'm just any shit.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know how that works because I think YouTube has gotten around a lot of that as well, to be honest with you. I don't know. I do not know what constitutes fair use. They
almost took Twitch offline over this shit.
Mm-hmm.
So why is TikTok... Why does TikTok have free reign and it's the most popular app on the planet?
Because it's also making these industries money.
So is literally all the other ones.
I don't know. I don't know if it had something to do with how TikTok used to not be American. Like, do copyright laws apply to other countries?
No.
That might be something to
so
do
they
with
do,
it.
but China doesn't give a fuck.
TikTok was formerly a Chinese company. I do believe
they still are, but
right. But they have I was never clear.
They're doing business in the United States.
Yes, I'm sure it's something fucky with that where they found like Ian said they found a loophole because technically they are not monetizing the direct use of the song. I'm pretty sure that's how they're getting around that, and then I'm sure it's probably something to do with how they're not an American company, and I'm also sure it's because our regulators do not understand that very well in order to regulate it. I'm also someone who doesn't know shit about shit, but that's just from the gaps in knowledge that I have, that's how I understand it.
I can't imagine that the Universal lawyers, Sony, BMG, are not just like beating down the door.
Yeah, but why would they not want their music on TikTok? Because if a song goes viral, it gets so much more, attention. Streaming numbers,
you're
sales,
thinking, no. You're thinking like a normal person.
Okay.
You're not thinking like a music studio executive.
Well, I do agree with you there, but I think, I guess you've missed all this drama about how like musicians are now slaves to the music industry because they're being forced to make TikToks because it's the only way to sell an album now. Did you miss all of that?
No, I saw that.
It started with Halsey, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Halsey's like the one that got like big publicity, which you can argue whether or not that itself was the publicity stunt. Whether or not you want to, and I know she even directly said, yeah, no, see, and you're going to say this is my publicity stunt, whatever, chicken egg nonsense. Mm-hmm. You're selling your album. I don't like her very much, to be honest with you, but that's irrelevant.
Wait, is there like a specific reason or
that I don't like Halsey?
Yeah.
I just don't like her music.
All right.
And then if you don't like someone's music, then they don't go away. You just turn into kind of a hater. You're like,
yeah.
Can I stop hearing about this person now? Like, I just think she's overhyped Tumblr music. That's all. And there's something wrong with that, but it's just not my thing. That's all. But nevertheless, so she blew it up, and then all these other artists were like, yeah, I hate TikTok. And it's like, yeah, but I bet you also hated doing radio interviews and TRL and having to have a Twitter account and having to make an Instagram. And that's people used to have to like record those sound bites for radio stations. Like, this is Taylor Swift and you're listening to Z100.
Right.
You never enjoyed any of that. TikTok is just the new version of that.
Right.
It's marketing. And maybe it's become more of like, you have to be a little more involved because TikTok is very quote unquote organic. And it's like more personal with an artist. And it's like, you have to put your face there. And it's more involved and you need more of it because there's always more content. But it's just the new marketing tools that artists have to get along with.
Right.
And it sucks. But it's the way the world is working right now. It's the biggest influencer tool there is. TikTok.
Does it make sense to hold a song from being released though, especially for somebody as popular as Halsey, like to hold their song? Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it does, because you create hype. If you just like drop an album out there, it has a very short lifespan. You can't make several trends out of different songs if you don't drop them. Doja Cat are you familiar with Doja Cat?
Yes.
She's become the template for how people are trying to like hack the music industry. Nearly all of her songs became TikTok trends.
Yeah.
Because they weren't released all at once. And you aren't seeing it as much with her recent album. So her album that came out in 2019, 2020, that's what happened, is that like all of her songs were released as singles separately and they all became separate TikTok trends. Her latest album did drop all at once and it's not going viral on TikTok the same way. She still is making her money because she became as famous as she needed to be. And she's like the it artist of the moment. And so she didn't have to do it again. But now every artist under the sun is trying to do the same thing. Because if you just drop your album, people listen to it, you get a few reviews, and then you go on tour and everything. It's a very conventional album cycle. These companies are now trying to elongate it so that not only can you just like drag out the promotion and build hype and everything else, it's just you can just make more money off of the same piece of content. It's not just one album.
I guess that's kind of similar to Stranger Things being split, like the season being split in half, right? You're just like extending the length of engagement.
You're extending the lifestyle and trying to get more return on investment, essentially, is what it is. You're trying to stretch that by, you only made one piece of art and now we're going to take it for all that it's worth. If we just sell that album straightforward all at once, we cannot make as much money as if we try to commodify like everything. That's my take on it, at least, is that, you never just drop something in full. Also, I think a lot of what you can do when you don't just drop something in full is it's almost a little bit of market testing, which song is and isn't playing well with the market. If you don't drop the whole album at once, you get free market testing to find out like, oh no, this song sucked, we should try this one, or oh, let's not even have this one on the album. TikTok becomes a bit of it's free marketing, it's free research, it's a little bit of all that. And so it is reshaping how like albums and books and everything were previously promoted, which does change then the cycle of like how things are released. Like I think like movies used to come out on a specific day, music used to come out a specific day, like comics released on a specific day. And I think that like old models like that are probably being broken by TikTok because that old system doesn't make as much money, doesn't command as much hype. It's all about the KPIs.
Yeah.
So
I guess we're going to see how Drake is going to fare.
I was going to say, I think Drake is the exception to this, just on account of being so huge that he can drop an album whenever he wants and people will engage with it and talk about it and all that. But.
Oh yeah, you could say the same thing for Beyonce, who just announced a new album. She will probably drop her album all at once. There's those people, when you know your album is going to sell, you don't have to do that. Right. I will say Halsey is super famous. She's not Beyonce famous. She is not Drake famous.
No. I don't think anybody's Beyonce famous.
No one is Beyonce famous. Right. Like, yeah, Beyonce does not need to play these games. I do not think there is a Beyonce TikTok account. She does not need one.
Right.
She gets to do really cool art pieces, like a full documentary, like an artistic side. Like, yeah, no, these artists don't have Beyonce money. And again, as someone who doesn't like Halsey's music, I could just be sounding like a whole hater here. I think Halsey is she's a trendy artist at the moment. It's not guaranteed that all of her albums are going to keep selling. Like, I don't think her last album sold very well.
But like it was so good though, because she teamed up with Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, and it was like this different.
Oh, who hasn't?
Right, but like,
yeah, no, it's not going to get you the viral song that you wanted to, but I think as a whole, it was like probably one of her best sales.
Right, and so she's probably more upset about like the artistic integrity, and she's like, yeah, I'm just excited about this album. She wants the conventional tour cycle for it. And her album's like, no, the artist you are is like, you're like a trendy pop artist. That's where you've had success in the futures with like your fucking Chainsmokers single and like her hit songs that like came out as singles, you know, and they don't see her as someone that could just sell albums by being Halsey. Well, that's not even true. She sure can. She has a fan base. But until you hit those Beyonce sales, you're going to play that marketing game, or you're going to find a new label that's not going to make you play those games. I'm pretty sure she's signed to like Universal or something. One of those big ones that's going to try to milk you for what you're worth. So, yeah, because I mean, like, yeah, you got like small indie artists that like don't have to do this shit and just sell their like 100K albums and they're good.
Right.
But anyone who's like signed to a major label is going to have to play that game until you are the Beyonce or the Drake or whoever else. Did you still want to talk about Phoebe Bridgers since that's fresh? It transitions from the music.
Yeah,
sure.
You want to cover that quickly? Yeah.
So we saw Phoebe Bridgers on Monday.
We did, all three of us.
Yeah, it's a great show. I mean, I don't know what you guys want to say, but I threw it in the show notes. Like, what can you say, right? Like, she's incredible. One thing, like, during the show, I ended up thinking about somebody that I didn't expect or want to think about, and that person is David Crosby. And I was thinking how wrong David Crosby is, because Phoebe Bridgers is just like exemplifies what it means to be a rock star, like, fully.
Was this the guitar smashing guy?
Yeah, and she's been like, he'll tweet something ridiculous, and then she'll just like reply and call him a bitch.
He's just been so irrelevant after that. Like, I like completely forgot who was the one that even said that nonsense. I mean, it's like, it's another one of those musicians who is just frankly out of touch with, I guess, like, contemporary culture in a way. Because like you look at like Mick Jagger. I saw like a headline about a Mick Jagger interview recently, and he's like, yeah, you know, Post Malone is the future of rock music. So it's just like, you know, they kind of talk out of their ass. And Machine Gun Kelly is bringing pop punk back and all that.
Yeah. Because like on the one hand, they'll be like, oh yeah, there's really no good rock music in the world anymore. But that Post Malone guy, you know, it's just stupid. Anyway, Phoebe Bridgers.
Yeah, she rocks. She does what she wants to. And collaborates with everyone under the sun also. Which I think just tops her. And yeah, she's constantly working. Like, there's always some new Phoebe Bridgers project out there, whether it's a cover that she's donating the proceeds to Planned Parenthood for, or just for fun of it. I was very sad we didn't get to that Funny Feeling cover, as someone who's very into the last Bo Burnham album special. I will have to give Netflix credit for funding that one. Although I will say they're also milking the shit out of that, because he just re-released it and is having a deluxe version of it.
Sure.
However, he did remix the entire edits and like unedited footage and released it as a new a new version free on YouTube. So, you know, still getting commodified, but I at least appreciated the artistic approach to the commodification. At least there is new content attached to it. It's new songs. It is different, but nevertheless, didn't get that cover, and that's okay. Because it was still a fantastic show. She killed it. I love that she just does what she wants to and appreciates her artists, and her show banter was enjoyable and brief and not, you know.
Our little brother was like hanging on every single word that she said.
Yeah, no, Phoebe Bridgers is she is the queen of the teens. Queen of the at least the alt teens, I'll say. Yeah. Not those mainstream teens. Though she's getting a little mainstream. Phoebe Bridgers I have heard in my local grocery store. Really? I remember messaging you about that.
Normally you don't hear somebody in the grocery store until they're like 15 years past their peak.
Right, like I hear Vampire Weekend all the time in the grocery store.
Like you hear Nirvana in the grocery store.
You do, but no, I heard Phoebe Bridgers, and it was like last year. This too was
weird.
So Phoebe Bridgers is still relatively new. Like I believe that was last year. She was Grammy's best new artist, even though she's been an artist for.
Well, hey, Japanese Breakfast just got
also
best new artist.
Right. And it's like, and how many years have they been active? Nevertheless, no, she's very much that queen of the alt teens.
But yeah, like back to the like, she's one of the artists that like. She can cover anything, and there's a good chance it's probably better than the original. You know, like that Funny Feeling. Like I'll go to her version before the original.
Yeah,
like her Teenage Dirtbag cover.
Oh yeah,
like come on.
Well, I really love that she's also a troll about it too. Like her Planned Parenthood one, or at least one of them. It was Iris by the Goo Goo Dolls. It was like I forget what it was, but I think it was like if this gets so many donations, I will cover Iris by the Goo Goo Dolls. Yeah, and then just all those proceeds went over. And I think I feel so terrible. I forget who that was with. Grace, another female artist who I think does more country. I forget her name. I'm so sorry. But yeah, also love Boy Genius. You know, my personal personal favorite third of Boy Genius is Julian Baker, but still beautiful, beautiful stuff.
You know, you guys might not want to hear this, but at last night's stop of the Phoebe Bridgers tour,
Lucy Dacus or Dacus.
Yeah. It's exciting for those people, but I'm kind of bummed about it. And Muna too. So it was 2 openers.
Yeah. Did you complete the hat trick this year? Did you see all 3?
No, Lucy Dacus canceled her Pittsburgh date.
Oh, damn.
Did you see that she like broke her back? And so it was like the couch tour.
Yeah.
So she was like performing from a couch.
Oh, wow.
For most of the tour. But Pittsburgh was the first date of that tour.
Oh,
and so it was like, they were like figuring out like what the fuck happened. And also how can we keep the tour going?
Right.
And so, so she performed from a couch for...
So you almost had the Boy Genius hat trick.
In 1 year, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not 1 year, but because Julian was October, was also a great show. And Lucy was supposed to be February of this year.
Yeah.
And that just didn't happen. I don't know if that got rescheduled or not. That's not something for me to look into. But
I feel like Julian Baker's music is so profound to a point that I can't listen to it.
Yeah, I can get that. It's not the most casual listeing type of stuff. No. I do find that. Like, I'll put her on in the car a lot, and I will find myself skipping because I'm like, I can't drive.
I can't.
To this song about relapsing.
Exactly.
But there are a few, like, Shadow Boxing is my personal favorite. Possibly, actually, my favorite song, like, of all time. And there's something about just screaming that one. Just in the car. But there are quite a few where I'm like, that is not casual listening. And I will say, I think that is why Phoebe probably is the most popular out of the 3. Not to make it a competition. It's not a competition. But there is a very obvious divide as far as like who is the most popular artist there. And it's absolutely Phoebe Bridgers. Probably because just the sheer amount of projects she has. And also I think that her songs are the most easily relatable and also like, I don't know, dancey almost. Like you
they're depressing in a more upbeat way.
Right, because she's a funny person, is what it is, I think. Not that the other 2 aren't funny, but like Julian Baker's music is not funny.
Right.
And Lucy's isn't either. Hers is very haunting almost, and it's possibly more due to her voice.
Yeah. And whenever she's funny, it's like so darkly funny that it's
Right. But like you can casually listen to Phoebe Bridgers and like happily sing along, like I want to kill you if you don't beat me to it. Like it's like that's a really harsh line, but it's so casual and joyful that it's like but
there's just like something embedded in her like persona as a performer, just like the self-awareness, like you said, the trolling almost. Like the fact that she'll have like merch, like she'll have a t-shirt that's like a heavy metal logo of her name, right? Like you get that sort of side of her that sort of kind of like smooths out the I guess the rough edges of the actual content of the lyrics. Right.
Like it's basically like having fun with your depression.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take away all of your personality.
Right.
It's just good branding. But it also is really good because it does feel very authentic because she's true to her beliefs and she seems to use her power to really uplift other artists that she really believes in. Other artists that are from more underrepresented groups, a lot of the gays, you know.
Yeah. I don't think she's forcing any of her the artists on her record label to make TikToks.
No, right. I don't think she does. She is. So you know, sometimes organic marketing or just being a real fucking person does work.
It is pretty brilliant. It is pretty brilliant marketing to go on tour and have all of your openers be artists that are on your record label. So you're giving them exposure at the same time you're giving yourself exposure, you know?
Well, yeah. But I think it also shows how well you can cultivate like a label that really does exemplify artists that are like you and that have the beliefs that you want to have and aren't just making a quick buck, you know? So that's really cool too.
Yeah.
A lot of respect there. Hope that's the future of rock music. That's my final note there.
Definitely.
And on that note, I think we did a show.
Yeah, a podcast.
The podcast.
Imagine that.
Huh, it's crazy.
First time for you in
4 years.
4 years. Wow. It's like riding an old bicycle.
Yeah, I need a snack.
Yeah, it's been a while. I don't have that on the soundboard, but thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Hope it wasn't too miserable of an experience.
Oh no, I just have to go pontificate on that tarot reading.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Not signing up for that one again.
No, this was such a great change of pace for us.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
We might have been in too much of a rut, you see.
Ah, I see. Well,
Yeah.
I'm happy to, I don't even know that be your tow truck. What a weird metaphor that one was. Let's maybe edit that one out. I use AAA too much, clearly.
That's
no.
true,
Oh,
yeah.
no. Now I'm shouting out AAA.
Shout out
I'm
AAA.
shilling.
Sponsor AAA. Hit us up.
I would love to be sponsored by AAA personally. I cannot advocate for their services enough.
It's
I
like,
don't know.
what, $20 a year? Get you out of a jam?
It's really great. It really is. I don't know what I would be without it.
They see you on your worst day.
They do. I have gotten so many flat tires, or during the pandemic, I let my car die because I truly was not going anywhere. And they were there for me.
Those fucking Pittsburgh potholes.
Yeah, really, like sent my tire flying off of my car. Not the entire tire, that it snapped. It snapped and the rubber went flying, and you know, they got my back.
I don't really have any notes, so yeah, thank you so much for listening. We really do appreciate it. If Tori had public social media, I'd tell you to go bother her to come back on the show.
Please do not look for me.
She doesn't exist.
She doesn't exist.
I do not have social media.
You can't perceive. I'm the only one on the show that really has public social media. So much so that Ian doesn't even follow me on Twitter, which is
It's true.
just go with that.
You know how easy it is to find someone who doesn't want to be found when one person related to them is public?
Doesn't listen to the show, doesn't follow me on Twitter. It's all good.
Why would
You
I
can't
listen to
listen
the
to
show
your
when
own
I am
voice.
the show?
Oh yeah.
I don't know how you do the editing. Honestly, a podcast never would have happened if I had to edit it. I cannot stand the sound of my own voice.
You get used to it after how many of these fuckers have I done? 59 episodes.
Oh, dude, I don't know about that. Early pandemic, my one boss tried to have us do a lot of like personalized, like e-card type of stuff for
TikToks.
basic. No, actually, I did. My one boss did try to get us to download TikTok and do TikToks as a team building thing.
Oh my god.
Ooh,
I refused. I really
that
did.
is a
TikToks.
special version of hell right there.
I was like, I have refused to download the app so far. My job is not making me break that threshold.
Corporate TikToks.
Well, yeah.
That's fun.
Nevertheless, I do not have a TikTok. You cannot find me on there. I maybe Bill will get on the TikTok soon.
Yeah, it would be a good place for me to put clips of the show. And I would have to do that, though.
You know, I will say I did finally subscribe to a new podcast. I don't really listen to podcasts much anymore. You guys familiar with Therapy Gecko?
No. Is that like the Gecko?
We like to
Is he
promote other
branched out?
podcasts on our
We
podcast.
do promote other
We
podcasts.
do actually talk about a lot of other podcasts on
No,
our own
but Therapy
show.
Gecko is this guy who paints himself green and wears a gecko suit and takes callers. And the callers tell him about their bizarre life
I've seen
happenings. Right? You've seen clips of Therapy Gecko.
I've seen clips on TikTok.
So he needs therapy.
No, the people who call in do, and he's a therapist. And they're
The
just...
therapist is painting himself green.
Yeah, he's not really a therapist. He's just some guy. He's just a guy.
This really shows the state of mental health.
Yeah, but no, but like...
that people are seeking counsel from.
What's really funny is that the
dude.
people really seem receptive to his advice. But like, it's really funny because like what was one of the things? Oh God, I can't even remember any of the specific instances now. Well, this one dude was literally on there. This wasn't a clipped one, but he was talking about how he grew up in a polygamous like Mormon family, and like how he really didn't come to terms with that when he was 18, and then he got kicked out when he was 18 because he realized he wasn't like with that.
Sure.
And he's talking to this guy wearing a gecko suit in green over the phone, and you really don't even think about that part. Like that is not even part of the gimmick at all. It's just kind of happening.
Jesus.
Has he gotten
Nevertheless,
the Geico sponsorship yet?
I don't think that he has, and I don't know that he will.
Yeah.
It's not very corporate friendly, but nevertheless, point being, I got into his podcast because he does really great clips of it. They're really funny, good to the show, and just a piece of advice.
Yeah, I gotta start clipping, man.
Gotta start clipping. It got me. It got me. Enough Therapy Gecko clips got me. I will say I'm not super actively listening to it. I try, and then I'm like, this isn't as funny as the clips.
Sure, the clips is what gets you.
Because a podcast is not going to be 2 hours straight jokes.
Right.
But no, good stuff. Gotta clip your stuff.
I should start paying our brother to clip.
Maybe.
We'll be doing. He's got nothing to do this summer. Right?
Family business. But where can we find you?
Yeah, as always, you can just follow me on Twitter at DeadEndRoad. Check out the Facebook at facebook.com/DeadEndRoadTV, twitch.tv/DeadEndRoadTV, where we'll be doing some live shows starting in July. So be on the lookout for that. If you want to follow early, live shows. I'm still working on the graphics packages. I'm almost done. with the graphics packages for that. That should be a lot of fun, because since we can't stay away from doing visual shit on the show, you will actually be able to see the visual shit. Look at that. And do YouTube search for DeadEndRoad TV, full episodes of the show, and clips when I get around to it. And you can email us video@deadendroad.co. All right, gonna do it for us. Thank you, Tori. Thank you for listening. We will catch you next time.
Thanks for having me. Bye.